Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 166, where a podcast talks about pop culture things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. I am especially struck by our, tried and true night because I'm going to soon be in the land that is the home of whiskey,
Oh,
Scotland.
buddy. Oh, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Are you going to have time for some tours or whatever? I mean, you got plenty of time to
S-
experience all that?
Um,
Or
yeah, so there are a couple of places that are right within the towns that we're staying, and then there are a couple places that we may drive to. So it'll kind of depend on what people want to do. But we have booked at least one officially, and then others are like a little more loosey goosey.
okay. All right. Nice. Well, I'm very excited for you. I hope it's all awesome.
Thanks.
Take lots of pictures, that sort of thing. But
Definitely will.
yeah, we'll get in back to the drinking bit in just un momento here. But I want to set everything up for everybody. We're live in a lot of places. We're live on Kick, X, Twitch, YouTube, all that fun stuff. So wherever you are, give us a follow, thumbs up, all those sort of things. Be much appreciated. Feel free tonight. Tonight's going to be kind of a whatever episode, what we've been doing. So if you have pop culture things that you've been into or consuming or not into and hating, whatever, yeah, jump in the comments and try to keep an eye on most of these here. And if you have thoughts, let us know. That's kind of that out of the way. It might be a little bit before we have another one of these episodes, another podcast,
hmm
because of your trip. So yeah. Otherwise, we're gonna talk about what we've been watching. I have a whole collection of things. Again, I will try
hmm
to not be too long-winded about them or make them. I have a couple interesting points on a few of the things, and then a couple news stories. Really, it's focused around gaming. We have kind of summer games fest and
hmm
all this sort of thing. Really, the PlayStation event kind of kicked things off for all the summer
hmm
game things. I mean, it used to be a simple, "Hey, E3's coming, guys. You know, here's E3. Everybody has their conference. Boom, done." And then until Gamescom, and then Tokyo Game Show. But that's kind of what it was. Now it's this mash of everyone trying to do some sort of stream, and
It's so
yeah,
constant.
hmm hmm
I
so
don't know.
yeah,
I feel like this is one of those things where availability is not always your friend or is not always, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the saying familiarity breeds contempt is pretty apt here, where I just feel like inundated with all of like the gaming showcases that happen around this kind of time, and I wish there was just sort of a composite place
right,
for this news to happen, and that, things would be spread out more then.
yeah. What was that? Familiarity breeds contempt.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard of that one, but I kind of like thinking about that. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually more applicable in situations where, you think about people rather than
Right.
things, but, in the sense of like you get familiarized with like these gaming studios and the constant streams of content they pull out, and it's like, okay, I'm like overexposed here, I've gotten
Yeah.
too much of it. I it's not exciting anymore. Um
Yeah.
so
I do have to say, at least now and kind of throughout the year, I used to. I mean, obviously, you'd have your network television, and they would sort of break things up for you. Like this is the fall season of television, and this is whatever. And or otherwise people get used to their one sitcom every night, that sort of thing. I do have stuff now I get worn out on, but I have so
Mhm.
many things available to watch that I can easily just turn that off for a while,
Pivot,
go to
yeah.
the other thing, yeah, and then come back after a little bit. So, but yeah, not so with the season of gaming
Yes.
promotions and all that sort of thing. So we'll talk a little bit about some of that, what we've managed to catch, and that'll kind of be our show. But maybe you need a drink to get through all these gaming events. Maybe it just makes it more enjoyable and relaxing.
Yeah.
So what should we be
Yeah.
drinking as we consume all this stuff?
Yeah, I certainly need a drink to get through the, kickoff for Summer Game Fest. That was, quite lengthy. Um, so lucky for me, there are a variety of options. The first one that, we haven't done yet on the show, that was back on May 25th. It was World Wine Day, and I was like, "Huh, that sounds familiar. Did we do that?" Technically, we did, when we were doing our review of Anya Taylor-Joy's, Furiosa
Mm,
looks. That was
okay.
that day. So, yeah, so technically we have done it, but since that was like an offshoot, I was like, I'll allow it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, if you haven't seen that, check it out because I think we did a pretty good review of her looks
Yeah, and we
on
got a
that
few
press
more
tour.
views on that than some other things. So,
Yep.
I don't know. Hey, fashionistas out there. Or maybe we're just Anya Taylor Joy fans. I don't know. Whatever. That's cool.
Whichever. You can be both, especially for
Yeah.
Anya Taylor Joy. She takes some risks. I enjoy her.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so World Wine Day was the 25th. Following that, closing out the month of May was Mint Julep Day on May 30th. If you're like me, you always associate mint juleps with the Derby,
Yeah.
which was, I think there was something interesting that went on with the Derby this year. I did not
Oh.
catch it, but I think there was like some scandal about some of the horses and um like some of the drugs that they were being given, not like doping steroids, but like I think it was drugs to keep them from feeling injuries, and so some of them got, like, actually
Mm.
after the derby and racing season got pretty injured because they were, like, not feeling their actual injuries.
See,
So
Bond isn't far off, all the shenanigans with the horses.
seriously, yeah, that's very true. Oh, yeah, that takes me back. What was that book? Which one was that? I enjoyed that
I
really.
was trying to think because that's
That
A
was a
View
good
to a
one.
Kill movie. They
Right,
took
but it's not that
elements of that,
book.
but the book is it Diamonds Are Forever? I think it's Diamonds Are Forever.
Yes.
We get in
Yes,
America with
Diamonds Are
that, and
Yes, yes. That was a fun book, even though it was, like, a little too, like, crisscrossing America, like, there was a little too much going on. There were a little too many places with too many plots, like, I could have distilled some of it down, but the essential plot overall was good.
yeah, yeah.
Because I remember,
I
like, moving from New York to Vegas and being like, "Whoa, okay, alright, interesting."
mhm. My complaint I remember being in that one again was the gratuitous, unnecessary detail of the
Yes. The
horses.
horse racing, yeah.
Yeah,
Where they, like,
mhm,
read the newspaper and they were,
yeah,
having,
mhm,
like, whole 10-page conversations around the paddocks and stuff. Yeah, I remember
yeah,
that.
mhm.
Um, but
We'll
anyway,
talk a bit Bond a little bit later.
yes, yes, I was gonna say I digress. We digress, as we are wont to do.
Mhm.
Moving into this month, June 4th was Cognac Day. The 5th was Moonshine Day. Those are 2, I think, liquors with very different, auras surrounding them, or,
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
you you think
I
of
was
a
wondering
very
what you're gonna
different
use.
clientele. Yeah, you think of a very different clientele who's in the market for cognac versus moonshine. So,
Yeah,
I
mhm,
like that those are back to back.
mhm.
And then today, happy World Gin Day and happy World Rosé Day.
Nice.
Today, June 8th. I am celebrating today's World Gin Day. I will also soon be in a land that is rife with gin distilleries. So, cheers.
Alright, yeah, cheers. Um, I kinda wanna have we gotta come up with a fun name for it, but a cognac and moonshine party.
Yes, I dig it. Complete with costume, just so we can like
Yeah,
really. dive deep into the kind of aesthetic differences and also the taste palette
You can
differences.
you can do, like, hillbilly chic. You
I
can
totally every time I think of moonshine, I think of just like the awful, awful Dukes of Hazzard movie with like Sean
Oh,
William Scott and Johnny Knoxville and Jessica
boy,
Simpson.
I forgot
Oh,
about that. I don't know if I really saw
oh,
it or if I just
it's
remember
so
coming out.
it's so bad that I kind of love it just because it's absolutely terrible. Also, Willie Nelson as like their Uncle Jesse is like the best thing ever. He's just wandering around being Willie Nelson. He's like, "You're happening to film me right now, being myself." So, but
Nice,
yeah,
yeah,
it's a pretty crap movie. But you know, the whole premise is like their brothers running moonshine.
okay,
So that's
yeah,
immediately what I think of.
nice, okay, well, set it up, Andrea. Cognac moonshine party. It's on
All
you.
right, happening upon my return.
Okay. Well, I was gonna make another fruit
Ooh,
aid drink once
all
again.
right.
I know it's
You
just a
love them
pattern
fruit
here.
aids. You really need to
Yeah.
like bottle this and sell it at some point because you're just so into the fruit aids. You need like a line of them.
No, probably exists. Probably exists. But I took a look at your list here and I decided on adding gin for the spirit.
All
Perfect that it's
right.
today. So yeah, this is fresh peach and Sprite and gin. So
Nice.
yeah, it's
Simple.
delicious. It's like the best one so far.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like nice, clean, refreshing, like just a
Hmm.
little hint of juice, but not like overwhelming sweetness. Well
The
done. Well
peaches
done,
are
sir.
peaches are fresh. Ashley had them ordered in, and the gin really works well with it. So
Yeah, I believe it.
okay, Andrea, I know you've
Hmm.
been packing and all that fun
Preparing for my
stuff.
presentation.
Yeah. Hmm.
Let's not all forget the
What?
reason I get to go on this vacation.
Let's forget that reason. Let's forget that part. What else have you been managing to do these last couple weeks?
Sure. So I've been doing small amounts of things in kind of, my snatches of free time. I did watch the PlayStation State of Play. I've watched about one of the 3 hours echo of the Summer Game Fest kickoff. And then I did realize that I've watched a couple of episodes. Speaking of going back and getting to binge something, because you've been on a break, I did watch a couple of episodes of Delicious in Dungeon. I
Okay.
forgot that I had watched, I think, all the way up through episode 14 when like that's where it was and they hadn't released the next episode. And then I just sort of
Hmm.
forgot to go back and keep watching. Um, so yeah, so I watched like episode 15, 16 of that and maybe 17 of that show. So that was really fun to get back into that. I forgot how good that is and how they're really getting creative with the storyline and with character there. So
Okay.
if you haven't seen Delicious in Dungeon, if you have seen parts of it and thought it cute and fluffy, it is still cute and fluffy, but now it's got a little bit more impact in its storytelling and a little bit more intensity. So it's
Okay.
really getting, I think, purposeful is a good word for it.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I kind of forgotten that one. I fell off hard on it because
Mhm.
I was so excited for it, and then when
Mhm.
it was not delivering something I was expecting, then yeah, it just was extra disappointing for me. But I could jump back into it for sure. You
Yeah,
know.
I think they're really doing like a back half twist, you know.
Okay.
You know how
I
like
mean,
anime
that's what I
seasons are
do
really.
expect. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're really divided, and a lot of the times when you get to that, like, halfway point and, they switch the music up on you, there's, something
Yep.
happening storyline-wise that's, also reflective of that, and I think that's what's happening here. They're getting a little bit more intense, they're getting a little bit darker. Um,
Okay.
they're telling a little bit more story instead of just being like, "Look at these cute ways we're carving up monsters and making,
Yeah.
these really sexy dishes out of these."
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Okay. Well, good. Yeah, I'm glad you're dipping back into that. Have
mhm.
you had you looked yet at all at the free run Beyond Journey's End anime?
I think I've watched one episode. I which I can
Okay.
say unfortunately right now about a lot of anime that I want to watch. I've watched an
Hmm.
episode. Um, so I haven't gotten deep into that. I do want to. It's next on my list after I catch up on Delicious and Dungeon. I want to get into Free Rin and I want to just finish out uh the Irregular at Magic High School season 2 and finish out Demon
Mm,
Slayer so I can
right.
hop ahead to catch up on this new season that's being released.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah.
So those are my
I
3 big goals.
okay. Sweet. Well, I don't have a presentation that I am preparing for. So I in the last few weeks have watched quite a bit.
Mhm.
Um last we talked we was about to go to Furiosa
Yes.
and had not yet gone to that. So, I will save like full review or something for later. Thought maybe Dustin could be on to talk about that too or something. But
Yeah.
I will say that the movie is good. I like it. I will also say it's too long,
Okay.
and I am very sad at how poorly it's doing at the box office
Mhm.
because honestly, the movie I really want to have happen is the next Mad Max movie telling the story of the year leading up to Fury Road from Mad Max's perspective.
Mm.
That's the
Okay.
other movie they have. That's the other story they have done. And with the way that this movie is performing,
Yeah, they're not gonna
I
do it.
just I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's
Sure.
I Fury Road to from what I can tell barely made money even though people loved it.
Mhm.
And this one is not going to make money unless something really weird happens with a streaming deal or sales after the fact or something like that.
International box office maybe can swoop in and save it.
Maybe, but see, people forget about international box offices because they see the number and then forget that internationally, especially China, takes a way higher cut of that money.
That's true.
So even if you get a whole ass ton of money from them, you're really, getting
Getting a
less
half-ass
than
ton of
half of
money.
that. Yeah. Yeah. So, so that's too bad. The original plan, I guess, was to have Furiosa made into an anime. This story, so the
Hmm.
movie was Fury Road, and around that was going to be a comic book and a video
Mhm.
and an anime, all kind of
Mhm.
expanding and making Fury Road even greater. And they have the comic book. The video game did come out, though there's not as much involvement from George Miller as he wanted, I guess.
Mhm.
And then the studio, I guess, said, we don't, we didn't like the Animatrix when that happened before. Let's not do that. Let's just make it a movie.
Mhm.
And so they did, and it's good, but it does feel like Fury Road is the piece de resistance. That's the
That's the
thing.
gold standard.
That is the, magnum opus. That's the crown jewel, whatever. And so this is a thing that leads in and amplifies that, gives context and color to that. But
Mhm.
the meat of the course is still Fury Road. So
Right.
that's how I see it. But yeah, those are my kind of quick thoughts about it. I did watch Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome leading up to this as well. So now I've seen all the Mad Max movies except for the original. Um, but but I actually really liked Beyond Thunderdome. I going in, I thought some people really had issues with it or whatever, and they maybe do. I haven't really looked it up, but
Sure.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, that's my time in the Mad Max world, the wasteland. Um,
Interesting.
see, what's that?
I was just looking at like reviews and kind of general audience ratings and stuff like that. And I mean, Beyond Thunderdome is like in the solid 70s. So,
Hmm.
people like it, but
Yeah,
don't love it. But
and
70s is not bad.
yeah, and that's where I would put the Mad Max movies, except for Fury Road. To me, yeah, and I yeah, I don't know that it's the greatest action movie ever made, but it's up
Hmm.
there. It is
Yeah.
up there. So, um, speaking of something that's no one's gonna say is the greatest, but it's fun. Maniac Cop 2. My horror
Okay.
group,
What is this?
yeah, my horror group picked Maniac Cop 2 to watch. It's I didn't watch the first one, but Bruce Campbell is in it, so I'm like, okay, that's cool.
God, he's so good.
And it's
I love
it's about
Bruce
this
Campbell.
cop that we learn the backstory, his backstory in this film,
Okay.
and but he's seems really tough, and he's causing all kinds of problems and violence and stuff like that. Kind of like a kind of acts hmm, like a RoboCop sort of thing, but bad guy,
Okay.
but bad.
Okay.
So, and it was I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It's not too long. There's a lot of great stunts in it. It,
Uh-huh.
uh, there's a point where it becomes like I don't know what I'm watching here or why are these things happening? It got a little strange, but it kind of
Well,
pulls
I
it back
mean,
together.
do you think that part of that was like you were watching Maniac Cop 2 instead of Maniac Cop 1?
Mm,
Like what was the point behind watching 2? Was there like a you know what I mean?
um,
Like why jump in
I think
there?
some people had seen the first one. And they're like, "Oh, let's watch the
Interesting.
second one." And I really don't think you do need to see the first one. They kind of recap it at the
Okay.
beginning.
Okay. I
So
mean, I'm just checking. I've never even heard of this before, so,
yeah,
you know,
it's
could have
available on
said
Amazon
anything.
Prime.
Yep.
It's available on Amazon Prime if you're looking for a good time.
There is
Wow,
a
that rhymes.
3.
Perfect.
There's a
Yeah,
Maniac
I
Cop
know.
3.
When the mood
Let's
strikes, I
see.
might give it a shot.
Interesting. There was a 4 in development. I don't know when.
Oh my gosh,
That's
what a
kinda
wasted
nuts.
opportunity. Yeah,
Ye Oh,
I feel
back
like
in, like,
3.
2009. It's not happening.
Okay,
I mean,
you know,
maybe, but,
I think 3 definitely feels like the maximum that this should be doing.
Okay.
Kind of like Leprechaun. 1, maybe 2 of those. That's about all you need. You don't
Sure.
really need more than that. But no, I recommend it. This is a good time. So, I
Interesting.
also recommend Daredevil season 3.
Obviously. Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of forgotten that I was going through Daredevil again, and had
Yeah.
started season 3, and then I don't know what it was that reminded me of it and made me sit down and watch that again. Maybe it's like my boxing class now or something. I don't know, but either way, it's still great. It's awesome to jump back into this and know that it's still as good as I remember it. And for any of the criticisms it gets, Daredevil just did a really good job, especially in this one, of making you care about the supporting characters. Like Daredevil can get a
Mhm.
little melodramatic at times, a little like, come on, enough with the crying or whatever, this sort of thing. But season 3, I think, just really does this stuff well. They have
Mhm.
Bullseye in there, and he is handled really well in terms of his psyche. So, yeah, I watched episode 3 through 7. That's where I'm at, and I also notated a couple fun quotes
Yeah, I
from these
saw that.
episodes. So the one was an FBI agent telling her, um, someone working for her, the lies that keep us safe are the ones worth telling.
Mhm.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on that line.
I mean, that's a hard one to dive into without any context.
Okay, I'll get a little bit of context. So the context here is that the guy's daughter is terrified that he is an FBI agent and working on this dangerous case, and so is always like thinking he's not going to come home.
Okay.
And the his his superior kind of relates to how she this was handled when she was a kid and her dad was doing
Mhm.
something dangerous. And
Mhm.
so that's what she's saying, the lies that keep us, because her dad lied to her then and said,
Oh,
"I'm
and
just
said, "I'm
hauling
not
this
working
really."
on."
Yeah, we just said, I'm hauling really safe stuff actually. Like and she's like, "Oh, okay, I
Oh,
feel better now." Because her dad
sure.
was a trucker hauling hazardous waste and stuff. And then she felt better about it and she was okay. But it was a lie
Mm.
to make her feel better.
Yeah, I mean, that does, it's almost falling in the category of, like, white lies, but it's not white lies, 'cause it is, like, a lie you tell to spare someone's feelings, which,
Mm,
perhaps we've all told to, like, varying degrees of severity from,
mhm,
appearances about something, or, a situation of like, "Oh, I feel like I really stepped in it." And it's like, "No, you didn't. Like, it's totally fine." Um, so I mean, I get like the base impetus for that, but that seems like a really easy thing to lead you down some pretty pretty dark and indefensible roads, because that could
sure.
justify a lot of things. It could
Mhm.
just justify feelings of safety in situations that aren't, threatening. So then it's just like coddling.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, like I get in this situation, like, you want to say, like, sure, you're making the right choice. I get it. I empathize here, but yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Okay.
a tough
I
one.
tend to agree. My thing would be, look, for kids, possibly this is applicable
Yep. Yep.
because it's for kids, you don't want to have to involve them in adult situations or things that they can't grasp or understand at
Yeah.
their current mental capacity. And
Yep.
so if there's things like that that can help, then that's where it makes sense. But
Mhm.
beyond that, right, becomes a very uh, slippery slope kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You can definitely justify a lot of things by just being like, well, I'm keeping someone safe. Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. The other one, when someone in need tries to push you away, you have to find the strength to hold on tighter.
I mean, again, context matters here. Because yes, a lot of times hurt people tend to hurt people where, you're hurting in a situation and you can't sort through the complexities of your emotions. And so you push people away because you don't want to deal with them too on top of your situation, or, you think you can handle it. Um, there's a lot of different reasons that people just kind of like isolate themselves when they're in times of high stress or chaos, or, you know, large changes, big emotions. I get it. Um, so yeah, so I think again, the essential thrust of this is like, yeah, if you see someone hurting and they push you away, you have to find the strength to not be hurt by it and still give them an avenue to like open up to you and reach out to them to see,
Right.
what can I do for you and can I be there for you. But yeah, there's a point too, again, where this doesn't work out, where it can get pretty toxic. Somebody is really just, you know at their breaking point and just can't
Yeah.
also handle you as well, trying to, even with your good intentions, perhaps that's adding stress for them to try and like
Yeah.
try to be nice to you and coddle your feelings at the same time they're trying to deal with their own emotions. So yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts. I think this one, if you just put sometimes in front of it,
Yeah,
like if you're
yeah.
giving advice to be like
Little
sometimes,
caveats.
yeah, 'cause the best philosophical quotes are like universally applicable, and they can be
Mhm.
you know test advice. It is situational, so so adding sometimes is just like yeah, contextually, this might be something to consider here.
Right.
Um, that
I mean,
and sometimes you need patience, or you need to see the bigger
yeah.
picture, or something like that. That
Yeah, I think for the second one, the ending is a little strong, you have to find the strength
mm,
to hold on tighter. Because I think for me, I, like, read that and it struck me as a little suffocating.
mm,
The strength to hold on even tighter, it's like, tighten your grip there to, like,
sure.
really be like, "No, I'm here for you." And, like, that's not sometimes what people need. Like, sometimes they do need space, but they just need to know, like, "Hey, I'm at the periphery of your space. Just, if you need to reach out, I just want you to know
Yeah.
I'll be here, but I don't wanna, like, crowd you."
The more you tighten your grip, the more systems will slip through your fingers.
I was just thinking that. Excellent.
Uh, okay. Um, I don't want to. I'm going to take too much longer here. I do want because I brought up last time. I'm still continuing on this. Doctor Who Bender.
Uh,
So Doctor Who Doom Coalition Part One.
mhm.
So it's another four-part box set. But I finished the first part, which is breaks down into four CDs.
I love
Hey kids, you know
CDs.
what these things
So
are?
so old school. You know what? The '90s are really having a comeback right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I heard someone that, they think that there's going to be a generation coming up at some point that just sort of rejects a lot of the technology that we're
Mhm,
using. And I
mhm.
don't know, maybe that's the case. We see more flip phones and stuff, I guess, or
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
told.
very true. Yeah.
What
I
other
mean, I think
ways you can phone back?
I don't know, I was in, like, a store today, and I just remember I what was it? The song choice, I'm gonna get there in just a second. Oh, it was, like, Hootie and the Blowfish. It was, ugh, oh god, I can picture his face.
Neither of us are good with the music things. We were
No, I
looking for
know,
trivia
we're
people for you, so
terrible. We're terrible. Yeah, I mean, he was, like, the guy who had, like, the serious frosted tips, begins with, like, an M. Oh, it's gonna bug me.
Alan's typing something. I feel like he's onto it.
Oh, please
Oh,
help me.
oh, he stopped typing.
Oh,
The
no.
frosted tips must have been
But,
a
like, he had,
no
like, the
go.
spiky hair and, like, the really frosted tips, and he was always wearing a chain. And he was always wearing, like, a shiny, like, tank top.
So,
Oh,
but I mean, okay, so
but, I mean,
but
the point stands even if I can't think
yeah,
of, like, the exact guy's name, but it was, like, totally just, like, a plethora of '90s music, like,
yeah. Alan says that's
Natalie
just for
Imbruglia.
90s.
I've just described every guy in the '90s. Um, like, Mark McGrath, maybe? I feel like there's an M in there. Ugh, that's gonna bug me so much. Um
Alan says Ricky Martin.
Yeah, it's Mark McGrath. Oh, what was his band?
Okay.
What was his band? Sugar Ray. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh god, that was
okay.
bugging me. So yeah, um, Ricky Martin, that's hilarious. But yes, I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if I turned around and Ricky Martin was, coming over the loudspeakers. Um, so yeah, so I mean, I've looked at like all the fashions at Target. I've looked at, a bunch of different stuff like accessories that are coming out, and it's just so 90s. It's so
Yeah.
nice. Baggy jeans,
Yeah,
tight top, like,
mhm.
yeah, it's everywhere.
I I'm kind of for it because to me, I was telling Ashley, anything that gets people away from wearing just their pajamas everywhere, I'm kind of in support of. Like everywhere I
As
go,
in
it's like either literally kind of light sweatpants
oh,
and
yeah, no, I see I
slippers
yeah. Sure, sure, sure,
or
sure, sure.
um just still leggings. It's like people
Yep.
roll out of the bed or they pretended they went to the gym or something like
Mhm.
that. And they're walking around. I just can't believe
Yeah,
they're
they're
in
so
public this way.
stylized. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
I love when I, like you can tell the difference between someone like me who, like, walks into a store after my volleyball game and, like, I've got, like, actual
you're
athletic wear
sweating and
on.
stuff.
Right, like, I'm sweaty and I'm wearing, like, my volleyball team T-shirt,
Mhm.
stylized, cute crop top with, like, a jean jacket and, my little purse and whatnot. I'm, like, wandering around in my sandy, sweaty
Mhm.
T-shirt and shorts and, my I think by now, actually, literally 20-year-old flip-flops from Old Navy that are, just covered in crap that I've accumulated, on the volleyball court and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so different from,
Yeah.
like, somebody who, like, pretends that their leggings mean that they have worked out today.
Yeah, they went for a power walk from their car to the front of Target, and that's their workout
Right.
until they
Right.
get their large frappuccino. But,
Yep.
um, I don't know, it just so, yeah, I've seen it as well. I've noticed the baggy pants. It's a bit grunge, and so I'm just like, "Hey,
Mhm.
people are wearing denim and tennis shoes," and,
Yep.
okay, alright, that's
Champion is back
better.
everywhere, like the Champion sweatshirts and whatnot.
Mm, okay. So, well, Doctor Doom Coalition does not come out did not come out in the 90s, early 2000s. But yes, it is available on CD. There is the four parts here. It's the one is called the 11, who is a villain that is a time lord that has like saved all of his regenerations. So like the varying personalities that come through for each
Oh.
regeneration, like, doesn't go away. So it becomes this, like, multiple personality sort of disorder
Oh, okay,
of
okay.
all his so he's, like, a constant
So it's not like a split,
combat.
like Tenant split.
No, no, it's a in his
He
head,
didn't, like,
he
save their
has them.
physical bodies. I get it.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Yep. So that's kind of a fun thing we're introduced to that villain. Then
Yeah.
we get the Red Lady, which, is actually one of my favorite ones I've listened to so far. It gets pretty intense, is a good kind of scary type of
Mhm,
story.
mhm.
So, and it's just this idea that there's a collection of paintings and there's this in the distance kind of red lady in all of them. And their paintings are from all different times, from all different
Mm.
artists. And so, like, how the heck? It's the same person. So that's sort of the
That's
mystery you're going to
creepy and
put there.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that, I like that.
Then the Galileo trap. So that's cool because we get to meet and talk to Galileo.
Mhm.
Doctor and him are buddies. That's fun. And then the Satanic Mill, and this is the kinda conclusion of this first set here, and deals with the 11 again, is not my favorite of the honestly, the conclusion is probably my least favorite of the 4, but,
Is
and
it, like, literally a mill, or
um,
what does that title
it's like
signify?
let's say, like a kind of I'm not sure what they're doing exactly, but it's basically like slave labor in this sort of
Mm,
mechanized factory sort of thing.
okay,
So they
okay,
are like kind of I'm not sure. I just don't remember what they're doing. I don't know that was particularly important, but it's
okay.
just probably why I'm not remembering it. But
Sure, I was just
they,
curious.
yeah, they are interesting characters you meet in there. There's a new companion addition that I'm unsure of at this point. She's a little maybe she sounds a little bit much like the other companion and maybe acts a little bit too much like her too. So I just need
Okay,
more distinction here
sure.
between the two, and hopefully get that going forward. So,
Sure.
but yeah, that's Doctor Who Doom Coalition, Eighth Doctor Adventures, the first box set, and still thumbs up, still thumbs up. So, um, I'm trying to think what else, if I want to delve anything else. Just saying that I'm also still watching through the Doctor Who show, starting from season one in the new stuff again. And damn, does it like they just don't make it like that anymore. They just
Mhm.
don't make it like that anymore. I just watched one that I don't remember particularly loving at the time, but man, I was getting choked up. It's emotional.
Which one?
Emotional. It's the Father's Day one, or I don't know if it's called something with the father. It's with Rose's dad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Remember
I
that?
remember that.
Yes, she's
Mhm.
like, My mom told me about my dad. That's all I know of him,
Yep.
and he apparently died alone, and so she wants
Mhm.
to go back, and she
Yep.
does, and things don't go well, of course. So
Yep, yep. I remember,
it's like,
bits and pieces that are coming back to me now. Yeah, that's a rough one.
hmm so so good. So on episode 9, finish that. That's the first one. Like, are you my mommy? That's and meeting Captain Jack for the first time. All that
Oh,
sort of stuff.
that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff. Okay. All right. Enough of me yammering on here. Speaking of the 90s,
Yes.
1994 was
Mhm.
on this day was the day
Mhm.
they announced that Pierce Brosnan was going to be the next James Bond.
Love it.
That had to be a
Good
crazy
casting
day.
choice.
Yeah.
Excellent casting choice.
I mean, it was one of those times where everybody's, you know, kind of like we can relate now. People
Mhm.
are concerned about the future of the Bond franchise. When
Yep.
is it gonna come back? What's that gonna look like? Is it gonna
Mhm.
happen? Did they have the investors for it? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure that's kind of what was going on right before this announcement,
Mhm.
because we
Yeah.
had Timothy Dalton do 2 films. They didn't
That
perform the
didn't
way that they were looking
Yeah.
for, and then he dropped out.
Yep. Yeah, it's too bad. Dalton is definitely one I think who's not appreciated in his time. Um, I think people are slowly coming around on Dalton.
Mhm.
But yeah, I can imagine well the nerves in continuing on with the Bond franchise and making sure that they had a great casting, which they did. I think Pierce Brosnan is my perfect like 10 of 10 in looks. He is so great.
For Bond
I
or just
love
in general? Like, he's just like
I mean, in general, he's a very good looking man. He's not my perfect ideal in terms of
mhm.
a man. But he's great looking. But yeah, for Bond, 10 of 10. Absolutely. Just nailed it. Um, I think his early work is really the greater balance between the dry wit and delivering a line that's a little silly, but not ridiculous in terms of like the later Roger Moore era. Um, but also like the hard action and just like the menace that is there for Bond. Goldeneye is the first Bond film I saw, and it is still one of my favorites. And I think Brosnan's best.
Okay. Yeah. I need to
I
I
like
need to
Tomorrow Never
rewatch.
Dies a lot as
Mhm.
well. But I think Goldeneye is better. I might be biased because I also think Sean Penn is an excellent villain and like the storyline is so good. Like the betrayal from within, like 006. Oh,
Yeah.
it's good. We don't get a lot of that.
Yeah, I think Goldeneye really did do that balance pretty perfectly of serious, adding a little bit of camp in it.
Yep.
And there's a weight to, or like an importance to, how it's the first. A lot of pressures on that. It's the same as
Mhm.
Casino Royale. There's a lot of pressure there, and when you
Yep.
deliver, it's just yeah, really really sells it.
Satisfying.
But Tomorrow Never Dies.
really good.
is maybe a better Bond film. Like, it has all the elements. It has a little more for gadgetry, there's
Yeah.
a few more one-liners,
Mhm.
it's like it goes a little more camp than GoldenEye,
Yes.
but not far, and I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what's his name? Uh,
Oh, Price.
yeah, Jonathan Price, also excellent villain. Then you get
He is
Stampa, the kinda the guy's gonna
Stamper,
German
yeah.
guys to torture you. Um, I don't know.
The
I don't know.
marksman, yeah, who's waiting for him. Und
But I
ein
agree, the
excellent
storyline is
marksman.
really good in Goldeneye, and the
Yeah.
supporting cast is fantastic. Famke
Yep.
Janssen is Zenny Onatop,
Mhm.
and then her, like,
Alan
partner
Cumming
in,
as Boris.
yeah, it's just really all around. They're
Mhm.
such characters,
Yeah.
but they really work. They really work in
Mhm.
this film,
Yep.
and,
Robbie
yeah.
Coltrane. Um,
Yep.
I love him, and I love that he's in several Bonds, and he's excellent here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm, m'kay.
Yep.
Alright, well,
It's hard. I really like, I enjoy those 2 a lot. I just Goldeneye was the one I saw first. I
yeah.
love the film, I love the song, I love the end, you know, it's like for Queen and Country James, no, for me, just like that
Yeah.
kill,
Yeah.
oh, it's just
Letting them go.
chilling.
Yeah, that's
So,
good. Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
One
Hard
of
to
the
pick,
best.
but
One of the best,
definitely
and then, like,
2 solid outings, and then we just
yeah. Well, and then what a call to put Judi Dench in for M.
oof, yeah,
Like, that's,
so good.
that's something
She
that
is ice. She is so, like, just cold, frigid, like, rigid, and then, she slowly loosens up, obviously, but, oh, just her first moments, she is just fierce, and I love it.
yeah, well, I mean, the relationship that kind of, in a way, can build, and it feels like it continues and grows, in a sense, through Craig, I
Mhm.
just, is good, and,
Yeah.
as, a bold take at the time, I suppose, you know, to switch anyone up like that.
Mhm.
And I don't know, but Bond is definitely one of those things that, survives. We've talked before on some of that reinvention of the things around
Mhm.
Bond. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, lots of
Okay.
chances being taken at that time and, good payoff, good chances being taken there.
Yeah. Yep. Well, in terms of chances not being taken, let's talk about the PlayStation State of Play.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, so I'm did I put this in there too late? I said not worth
Yeah,
watching. I was for
sorry, I
you,
didn't
so you didn't have to look at it.
sorry, I didn't see that until yesterday, and I was like,
Um,
"Oh, no."
yeah. Um, so look, it's a state of play, whatever, but people really are. We're in this in the PlayStation 2 was, I think, is currently still. I don't think it's quite been surpassed yet. The best selling home console of all time.
Mhm,
And so they got really high on themselves at the time. They developed PlayStation 3 that was difficult to make games for.
mhm,
And but they thought, hey, everybody's going to do the thing we want. We're going to put this out there and everybody's going to eat it up. And they got off to a really slow start.
mhm,
Um, Most people would consider, to my understanding, like that generation was, despite sales figures, taken by Xbox 360. And there was just an air of cockiness about them, like we can do no
mhm,
wrong. And I don't know that that's happening now, but I'm worried that maybe it is because the PlayStation 5 is selling like crazy. It's
Yeah.
selling like mad, and great, but eventually, I don't know, so eventually do people notice, like, I don't know, are the things you're giving me worth it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just everybody's plays enough third party stuff, it won't matter. But this
Sure.
showcase was just a very, very meh showcase.
Mhm.
I mean, to me, easily the best looking thing in this whole thing was how what the show closed with. It was Astrobot
Yeah.
coming out
That was
this
cute.
year.
Mhm.
It looks like a lot of fun because I played the experience that comes with the PlayStation 5, which is much shorter, short thing,
Mhm.
but that was a lot of fun. So
Mhm.
more of that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that looked great as well. Yeah. My only two things other that I noted were one, Silent Hill 2. Like, I love a good horror game, so, like, I would play this. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's no, like, "Whoa, blowing my mind," like, crazy new, cool, whatever, but it seems, like, solid and nice and something I would play because I love a good horror game. And then the other thing I noted was the opening game, Concord,
Mhm.
and it wasn't even about the game itself. It was the fact that, like, they were doing, like, the post credits, like, interview with the developers and being like, "Oh, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this." And I thought it was really interesting that said, like, every time you log in for the first time on a day, you will be greeted with a new, like, mini cutscene.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I just sort of took note of that and I was like, "Wow, that is a lot of content to just, like, come up with and originally produce." Um,
Sure.
that is a big commitment, and I don't know if that's, like, something I think is really cool or if I just sort of think it's excessive, but it was something I hadn't heard of before and didn't think, like,
Sure.
I don't know if that's really a great use of resources or no. Um,
Mhm.
but it's an experiment, so I'd be interested to see what people think about that.
Sure. Yeah, Concord was one I was looking forward to finding out what it was about because we had
Mhm.
teaser for it a while ago, and they really
Yeah.
sold me on the sort of 70s
Yeah.
aesthetic. And
Kind of
then
half
when I
Guardians of
saw
the Galaxy vibe.
yeah, when I saw this, I thought, "Oh, they didn't lean into that enough." Like,
Mhm.
it felt way more generic than I was anticipating. Like,
Yeah.
the cinematic was pretty and all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
but I just was really hoping it would lean into that 70s thing to really distinguish itself from everything else. And what it
Sure.
looks like is kind of another version of Overwatch, which
Yeah.
I get people being like, "Well, Overwatch, it's got a lot of bad PR right now. So let's do our own version of that, and we can capitalize on the shortcomings or whatever." But yeah, overall, I went in with the teaser trailer last year,
Mhm.
pretty pumped to see what this was, and then
Mhm.
seeing more now, I'm like, I don't know if people play it and say it's amazing, maybe I'll look at
Maybe.
it. Otherwise, I don't.
Mhm.
I don't care, I guess. So,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean,
Silent Hill.
looking at this
Okay.
list, like, thinking about the fact that, like, I noted the beginning and I noted the very end and, like,
Yeah.
all the things in the middle are just, like, blurs of almost nothing.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
it doesn't bode well for this this showcase.
There's an Alien in VR game. That'd be
Yeah,
scary, I imagine, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, and I mean, I noted it because I was like, "Ah, Alien," like,
Mhm.
that's familiar, but I don't know. I somehow was kind of less excited about that than I was about Silent Hill,
Mhm. Silent
but I don't know
Hill,
if
the
it's
you don't know if it's what?
oh, I don't know if it's just because I love Silent Hill so much. It's just one of
Yeah.
my favorite
The
movies,
Silent Hill stuff
franchises,
makes
like,
me
concepts, but
upset because they Konami just seems so non-serious about video games these days. And
Sure.
so a lot of people aren't super thrilled with the team they have making Silent Hill 2. They're really
Sure.
thinking, hey, this is going to be like the Resident Evil remakes, which look amazing. That most people seem to agree that they're pretty faithful, other than maybe three, and enjoy the hell out of those things. And Silent Hill 2, they're like, it doesn't look as good as it should. They've changed some character models people aren't happy about. And the team
Sure.
behind it just doesn't have the pedigree that people are hoping for. So people are worried about this game because they're starting right away with like the fan favorite. And I don't know. They're just not
Yeah.
inspiring confidence here. And it seems like Konami's finally decided, oh, we have these giant IP. Let's do something with them other than pachinko machines. But then they just kind of throw some money at someone and don't take it seriously. So I don't know. It's really
Sure.
interesting to see what it's going to be. What are we going to get from the Metal Gear remake? And I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Mhm.
see. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I get it. Huge caveats, but
Yep.
yeah, we'll see.
And then Monster Hunter Wilds, it's not a PlayStation game, just showing here, and I think a lot of people, if you're into Monster Hunter, I'm sure that looks pretty awesome for people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. Um, I don't go into these things with high expectations anymore, so I wasn't like sitting here super disappointed or something like that. But
Mhm.
would have been nice if there was something a little more, something new and really interesting.
Yep.
But that was kind of the beginning of all the game things. Then a little later, so now it just
Mhm.
started, yesterday or whatever, 2 days. Yeah, yesterday we had Summer Games Fest, so Jeff Keighley's
Mhm.
thing, and then it just like the onslaughts with Digital Devolver events, Day of Devs, Gorilla Collective, Future of Play, Future Game Showcase. Those are different, I guess. It's
Oh,
over
God.
and over.
It's
So
so much. It's so
I've only
much.
seen part of some of these. I've seen the Gorilla Collective. I watched pretty much most of that,
Okay.
and I watched a, a pieces of slash heard a bunch of it through Ashley. I listened to a bunch of it in the car of Summer Games Fest, and then I kind of looked at the recap of the Devolver Digital. So
Oh, okay.
of,
Yeah.
of anything of any of these showcases, any games stand out? It's like, wow, yeah, that.
Um, honestly, I can't say that because I haven't seen a lot, So I don't wanna,
Mhm.
like, get too into that because I don't want to say that anything wowed me and then later be like, "Oh, just kidding. That was, like, a cute little blip, and now something actually wowed me." Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, uh, there's Lego Horizon Adventures.
That was cute.
Um,
That was a great way to open, at least. I mean, the
I'm
content was long for the kickoff, but that was a cute opening.
sure. Yeah, I, I. It's an interesting play. This one making
Mhm.
Horizon. I have a Horizon Lego set. I wonder if they had success with that and thought, let's do a game as well, or
Mhm.
if it's an attempt to like plant the seed early for a younger audience in hopes that they're betting a lot on the Horizon franchise,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
love it a lot. Like despite my mini gripes, I love Horizon. It'd be interesting to see how this does. Like, do
Yeah.
families love Horizon? Will kids be into this?
Mhm.
I don't know. But yes, it looks cute. Looks cute. I did know while I was watching, I was like, wow, Aloy is much more likable and fun in Lego Lego version
In
than
Lego
she is in the
format.
game. Yeah. They
I mean,
honestly
who
even
wouldn't
kind of
be?
like
Who wouldn't
teased
be?
they kind of teased her a little bit about kind of being pushing everyone aside in this last game. That's how I read it anyway. She's like, adventure alone. And then they're like, no, just kidding. She has friends, or whatever. Because it's like, that's something you spend a lot of time in the second game. Like, hey, you have friends, they can help you.
Right. Like,
So,
remember.
yeah. So, Ashley's really gonna be looking forward to Metaphor. It's a at Team Atlas game
Yeah.
that be interesting. And then Dune Awakening. They showed another trailer for Dune Awakening here.
Yeah, I saw that.
I I've kind of high hopes for Dune Awakening. Maybe this will be a thing that gets me to try like an online MMORPG sort of thing again.
Mhm.
Looks like they mean business. They got budget behind this thing.
Yeah, it looked gorgeous just from, what I could see of it here.
Yeah, and
I'm
that
just
like I've
looking at some
seen
of the
other
announcement.
trailers, and because I heard someone complaining that well, there's no gameplay in this, but we've seen some other looks at that now.
Yeah.
Just
Mhm.
one more look. And I didn't know the premise was what if we had a world where Paul Atreides never existed? So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Kind of an interesting
Yeah,
take.
what could have been.
Yeah. So that's a couple things of note. Um, Power Rangers game. I like playing those kind of games with people, like I guess a couch
Mhm.
co-op. So like
Yeah.
Streets of Rage or a Ninja Turtles or whatever. So if it was a new Power
Ah,
Rangers
Ninja
game, that'd be cool.
Turtles. We
Yeah.
can't get away from that '90s vibe. It's here.
No, it's right. Ashley doesn't like playing those kind of games. So it's like,
Oh,
does
really?
that- no, she doesn't enjoy that. So,
I mean,
and I
I'm the
don't play
same as
myself.
you. I wouldn't play it by myself. I would play it with
Yeah.
other people, like Turtles or
Hmm.
Power Rangers or whatever. Like, that's definitely like a group activity in my brain.
Yep.
But I mean, I
And
like it when I do.
right. Yeah. And then I looked at some of the like the recap of the Digital Devolver events, as I mentioned, and I usually like to watch these because they're so freaking crazy and don't make any sense
Mhm.
and whatever. So I'm sad I missed it. But I see there's a game called Tenjutsu, which says it's a
Yes. That
jujitsu
looks
inspired
cool.
action roguelike from the lead designer of Dead Cells.
Yeah,
So
that looks really
that's
cool.
cool. Yeah.
I love the coloring in that one as well.
Hmm. So that's one to look at for me, one to look forward to.
Yeah, I was like scrolling through and one of the games is called Angerfoot. I have
Yeah,
no idea. I've
that's
never heard of this before. I have no context for this whatsoever, but
mhm.
that is a name. I love it.
We do have some weird stuff coming out. So like Angerfoot, we've got the squirrels with guns. And then there was another
Yeah.
one they just showed. What was is another animal was being violent or something. What was that?
Yes. God, what was that?
I feel like there's been a spree of these pretty zany
Yes.
concepts as well, like Octodad, Untitled Goose Game, that sort of thing. It's like
Yep.
more and more of
Yep.
those.
Totally.
So yeah, but
Could be
yeah,
fun.
that's
Could be
that's
fun.
what I've noted. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing more. There was a big trailer I can't think of again because I was listening to it, but everybody seemed to think it was really cool, and
In which
so I'm
one?
hoping I can in it was in Jeff Keighley's, I
Oh,
believe.
okay. Game Fest. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll
I'm
have to
sure if
try to.
it's everybody's talking about it, it's farther on than I've watched, so we'll see.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep
yeah,
watching and, report back later, much later.
yeah. It's something. There's like a demo I think coming very soon, June or July, and then I guess it comes out later this year. So
Okay,
look
sure.
forward to that. And then, I've been really down on Xbox, and I think Microsoft in a lot of ways is a really garbage company. But
Mm,
their Xbox showcase, they own a lot of companies now,
mhm.
is tomorrow. And
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to be able to live stream it, but I'm definitely going to try to get on and talk about it, if nothing else, because it'd be interesting to see what they show
Yeah,
off. So.
what their contribution to this slew of showcases is.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm wondering if this is kind of if that's kind of the cap for a while. I'm really not sure, or then we have a little bit of a break before we have more. That would make sense to
Be
me.
nice. Nice.
That
Because
yeah, yeah.
this is a lot that's come out in, like, the span of a day.
Give us a chance to catch up.
Mhm.
I did see this morning on the, Guerrilla Collective one, they're doing a kinda remaster of Yooka-Laylee. That is a game in the vein of Banjo-Kazooie. Again, very
Oh,
sort of
okay, sure.
90s sort of thing that's a
Yeah.
platformer adventure game, and it's sad because a lot of people want a Banjo-Kazooie remake and all this sort of thing. I
Mhm.
I wonder how Yooka-Laylee sold. You know, these things don't light the world on fire anymore that when they used to be
Sure.
kinda big, and I just wonder if kids have moved on. Kids are too I have to play a multiplayer. I have to play Roblox or Minecraft or
Sure.
something. Um, that like I hope it does well because it looks cool. So
Yeah, it
fun and cute.
does.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's about it there for gaming stuff. I think. Andrea, you have this like powerful gaming computer in front of you. Like, what are you gonna play next? What are you gonna play?
I don't know, but I'm gonna be able to get back into it, you know? There's gonna be pretty much a huge exhale and a huge chunk of my time back after my presentation is done.
Okay.
Um, because I've been not only preparing for this one, but I've been preparing for a similar I had been preparing for a similar presentation that I gave last month. So it's been like a long few months where I've just been every spare moment of my time has been wrapped up in presenting this different like scholarship that I've been doing. So I will have a lot of free time come
Mhm.
the end of June. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna play, but I do know that like I miss gaming and I'm gonna get back into
Elden Ring. We're all gonna play Elden Ring together.
it. I'd be cool with it.
Um, yeah. I'm wanting to play. I didn't mention it, but I have been playing a little bit of Stellar Blade this week. Back into that.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to move on until I've gone through that. It's still a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Alan says Dave the Diver. Are you playing that, Alan, or are you telling Andrea to play that?
I think what Alan's really
Both.
saying is that I should knife my way through Borderlands.
No. Just forget Borderlands. Just forget Borderlands is a thing. Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of like revisiting things.
Mhm.
All right, Dave the Diver.
Mhm.
Dave the Diver on my list.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Too
will
much
literally go old school and write it down right now. Dave the Diver.
too much to play.
Ooh,
I hear there's a big update coming to Fallout 76 that people are gonna like. Um, oh, before we close, I want to add one thing just because, you know, talking about computers, gaming, talking about 90s now. Well,
I'm intrigued.
I think there's something that is going to, you know, will people go back, kind of embrace CDs, ancient tech like I have, or are they going to move forward? Because I got to play around with do the demo of the Apple Vision Pro. So you can
Oh,
go
yeah,
to
I
an
saw you
Apple
had that on
store,
here.
yeah, and you can do a setup for their demo thing. And like I knew generally what to expect or whatever, but I want to see how well it worked. Ashley's
Mhm.
kind of it was messing up for her. Wasn't seeming like it was working well,
Ooh,
but
that is a
there was
hefty
a couple
price tag.
things that stood out on that. Well, right, and it's heavy price tag, but it won't be for long. You know, I'm sure these, as more people make these kind of things, and will come down in price. There is one example you can capture some 3D stuff in it. It's like very straight out of Minority Report. So they show this thing where there's a family around a birthday cake, and it really feels like it's right kind of in front of you, and so you can
Mhm.
capture those kind of memories yourself. And I'm just thinking, like, if with our kids in 30
Mhm.
years, it would be kind of amazing to be able to experience them as like babies, like
Babies
running
again.
towards you again, like that would
Sure.
probably be a pretty emotional experience versus just like on the television or on your phone or whatever. So that could
Yeah.
be a kind of change, life changing memory revival sort of thing. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like, being marketed that way, because I was thinking of, like, the commercials, where the kid gets, like, her grandpa and his, old war buddies all VR sets, and they go back in the cockpit, and they're like,
mm,
"Oh, gentlemen, it's a great day to fly." So, I mean, VR is definitely being sold that way right now,
yep.
as in the relive the glory days, relive the experiences. It's as if you're back here. So I think that's like a cool thing for sure, and definitely like a selling point. I think that would be emotional for a lot of people, and that would like fulfill a lot of, the looking back and, you know, reliving your fondest memories kind of vibes, the reminiscing is what I'm trying to go
Yeah.
for. I gotta say though, not at like a $4,000 price tag. It's not gonna do that.
That's definitely a Gen 1. It's too heavy,
Yes.
you have a
Yes.
battery pack strapped to it, it's but nonetheless, like, the experiences are still, it exceeded my expectations, I guess.
Sure.
The I you know, the positive is, hey, yeah, get maybe people that aren't so mobile anymore. They can't travel. You can put them any place in the world and they can experience things in kind of an incredible fashion. And but the danger is you don't want people that can go experience things relying on
To
this
not.
as opposed to the actual experience. So
Yep.
I can see that
Yep.
happening
It's a
too.
fine line. It's a
Yeah.
fine line.
But, like, the end thing they show is, putting they have a camera on, like, the goalie net on a big soccer game, and the field is around you, and it just, like, really feels like you're there, or that you are on a cliff, and there's a woman walking, like, life size on a tightrope towards you. She's, like, staring at you, and it's just, like, it really gives you chills doing it. It's it's well implemented. So, I don't know. I'm I as much as I'm a Luddite, I'm also these things impress me, and
Sure.
I can see where they're going in the future, and yeah, excited for what that could bring.
I think it's a problem
Or
to
we're all
me.
just going to
Both
be
and.
plugged in. Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Mhm. Yep. Okay, that was my last thing. Andrea, hope you have a good trip.
John,
Hope it's
thank
fun.
you. Thank
We're
you.
going
I
to
appreciate that.
be back on the Ohio Anime Channel or live on all these places. Oh my God, when was this? I didn't see this here. MJ Honeybee was in the Twitch chat. I don't know if this is just recent. I can't
Oh.
tell what time it was, but
Oh, MJ. Oh, if you're there, hi. And if not, I miss you.
yeah, glad glad you're jumping in here. Um, we're gonna be back with an Ohio anime.
Mm-hmm.
So, talking the first 5 episodes of Demon Slayer, the latest season.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what's next for us and our channel here. So, yeah. If you wanna do a
Good
live
luck with
stream
that.
from across the pond, you let me know. You find some cool, James Bond location or Doctor Who location or something like that. You,
Yeah. There
yeah.
there are quite a few actually locations that we will be near, so we'll see. But there are quite a few filming locations for Skyfall around Scotland,
Yeah,
unsurprisingly. And
yeah.
there, of course, there are a few that are Harry Potter. I am tentatively hopeful. The Jacobite Steam service, which is like the famous Hogwarts Express from Harry Potter, they had shut down because of a dispute with the National Scot Railway, but they
Mm,
have tentatively reopened and are maybe allowing bookings. So
okay.
I am hopeful that maybe there is a time that we could all or some of us could go do that. If I do ride the Hogwarts Express, I will try to live stream some of that.
Nice. Someone better walk by. You just have one of you guys acted out. Anything from the Charlie days?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. Yeah. So, all right. Well, very cool. Have fun. Thanks everyone for joining
Thank you.
us. It's been another episode of Popcast on the Rocks, episode 166. And we'll see everybody next time.
Sounds good. Cheers, everybody.